Welcome back to the channel, folks. Hope you are well. In this episode, I'm taking you through one incredible day in Istanbul. We're talking those early morning moments in the city centre, that unreal atmosphere when the call to prayer fills the air, a mix of history, surprises, street snacks and a sunset you won't forget. Istanbul has a way of pulling you in, and today you'll see exactly why. But before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell and give this video a like so you'll stay up to date on all our travels. Thank you so much. Let's begin our journey. This is absolutely amazing. We actually are here a few days now and we kind of walked around the old part of the city where we're staying, and it's just unbelievable. So much history, every corner you turn. It's such a fascinating city and I'm just so happy to be here and excited to get stuck in and learn more about this place's past. Istanbul is very busy at the moment. You can see behind me all these canopies, and there's a good few people here, to be honest, for this time of year. I believe it's the down season, so we're early, we're up early today and we're trying to get in. We saw big queues here yesterday and the day before, so fingers crossed we're not waiting that long. So I have seen the Blue Mosque and it is an absolute architectural masterpiece, there's no question about it. The architecture is actually a blend of Ottoman and Islamic styles, so it's very much influenced by its past. Walking into Sultan Ahmet Park felt unreal. You're right in the middle of Istanbul with the Blue Mosque on one side and Hagia Sophia on the other. I got there early and the call to prayer started from both sides at once. It sounded like the two mosques were calling back and forth across the park. The fountains were running, people were relaxing, and the whole place had this calm but powerful energy. It was such a cool way to start the day. From the park, it was only a short walk, maybe 2 minutes, and we reached the Basilica Cistern. This place is one of the coolest spots in Istanbul. It looks simple from the outside, but once you go down the stairs, you enter this huge underground world built in the 6th century during the reign of Emperor Justinian. It was created to store water for the Great Palace and nearby buildings, making sure the city always had a steady supply. Inside, it feels almost unreal. Rows of stone columns rise out of the water and the soft lighting makes everything reflect and shimmer. You hear slow drips and footsteps and nothing else. It is one of those places where the history feels close, like you can imagine the workers who carved and placed each pillar. At the back of the cistern you find the Medusa heads. There are 2 of them used as bases for the columns. One is sideways and the other is completely upside down. The upside down one is still in great condition and the carving details are surprisingly clear considering how old it is. No one knows exactly why they were positioned like this. Some say it was practical, others say it was to neutralise the Medusa's power in mythology, which adds a little bit of mystery to the place. Standing there, you really see how advanced and clever the city was. What feels like a dark underground hall is actually a huge piece of engineering that kept ancient Istanbul running. It is quiet, cool and peaceful, and it shows just how deep the history of this city goes. This video is sponsored by Level 8 and I'm excited to share the 2 carry-ons I've been using, especially on my recent trip to Porto. I travel a lot, so having reliable luggage honestly makes the whole journey smoother. My go-to bags right now are the Level 8 Voyager carry-on 20-inch and the Captain Aluminium Pro carry-on 20-inch. I brought both with me to Porto and they handled everything so well. The Voyager is lightweight and clean in design but is really spacious. The inside layout keeps everything organised and the 360-degree spinner wheels glide across airports and cobblestone streets with zero effort. It has that premium feel without being heavy. The Captain Aluminium Pro is the sturdier one with that sleek metallic body. It feels strong the moment you pick it up and it handled overhead bins, tight spaces and hotel moves easily. The wide handle design gives you more internal space and keeps the suitcase stable when you're rolling it, which really helps on the uneven streets in Porto. Both bags have TSA approved locks too, which makes security checks stress-free. What I appreciate most about Level 8 is that everything is purposeful. No unnecessary extras, just high quality, well designed luggage that looks good and makes travel easier. After taking them to Porto, I can say they really do elevate the whole trip. If you're interested in taking a look, I've put a link in the description and there's a cheeky little discount there for you as well. Next we crossed Galata Bridge and took in the views of the Bosphorus. From there we made our way to the Kamando Stairs, built in the late 1800s by the wealthy Kamando family. The stairway twists in two directions to make climbing safer for children and older relatives. It's a short climb and from the top you're ready to continue up to Galata Tower. When we visited Galata Tower, there was construction going on, so some areas were blocked off and the line outside was much longer than usual. Even with all that, it still felt like one of those places you have to experience for yourself. There is something about standing under a structure that old, knowing how many centuries of history are wrapped into one tower, that really makes you stop and pay attention. Galata Tower dates all the way back to the 14th century when it was built by the Genoese. They controlled this part of the city at that time and it needed a strong defensive lookout point. Back then the tower would have been the tallest building in the entire area, and it became their main watching post. Over the years it changed roles again and again. It served as an observation point during the Ottoman period, then later a military lookout, and at one point it was even used as a prison. It is strange to think about it because today you look at it and you see tourists with cameras and families buying snacks, but this exact space once played a completely different part in Istanbul's history. The climb inside the tower is pretty tight once you get near the top. The lift takes you up part of the way, then you follow a narrow staircase where everyone moves slowly. With the long queues and the construction going on, the wait felt a little longer than usual, but once you step out onto the terrace, everything clicks into place. You instantly forget all the delays. The whole city opens up around you and you get one of the clearest views of Istanbul you can find. Looking out from the top you can see the Bosphorus stretching into the distance. Ferries, fishing boats, cruise boats and small private vessels all moving at once. The water looks almost like a main highway of the city because it never stops flowing with movement. When the sun hits the surface just right, the reflections look like little flashes of silver. From up there, the energy of the Bosphorus feels completely different from what you experience down in the streets. Turn your head slightly and you see the skyline of the old city. The mosques are the first thing that stand out. Their domes and minarets rise above the rooftops and connect the modern city with the past. You can easily recognize the Blue Mosque, Hagia Sophia, and several others stretching along the horizon. Seeing them from this height gives you a new appreciation for how beautifully they were designed. You notice how perfectly they sit within the landscape and how they've shaped the identity of this city for centuries. Then you look down toward the neighbourhoods between the tower and the water. The streets twist around each other in a way that looks completely random from above. The buildings stack up along the hills and you really understand why people always say Istanbul is a hilly city. You see the steep roads, the layered rooftops and the cliffs that the houses seem to cling to. It is fascinating because when you are walking through the streets you only feel the climb, but from up here you finally see the layout of the whole district. The contrast between everything is what really makes the view special. You have ancient mosques, modern bridges, old stone houses, new apartment blocks and the constant movement of the Bosphorus all blending together. It is a reminder that Istanbul has lived many different lives and somehow they all exist side by side. We stayed up on the terrace for quite a while just taking it all in. Even with the construction work happening and the crowd squeezing around the balcony, it did not take away from the moment. Every few seconds you find something new in the distance that you did not notice before. A ship turning, a rooftop cafe, the golden light hitting a minaret at just the right angle. It's the kind of place where you can easily stand still and think about nothing except the view. If you plan to visit, going early in the morning or toward the late afternoon is the best way to miss the longest lines. And because the entry system is different from places like Basilica Cistern, I've added a link to buy Galata Tower tickets in the description, which make things a little bit easier for you. Even if you have to wait, it is one of those experiences that pays off the moment you step outside and see the whole city at your feet. After Galata Tower, we headed back down toward Eminönü. If you have time on the way, try to grab some Turkish ice cream. The vendors make a little show out of it and it is a fun break before moving on. Eminönü itself is a great place to slow down for a few minutes. There are benches, street food stalls and constant movement from locals and travellers. It is one of the best spots in the city to people watch while ferries glide in and out of the pier. From there we made our way toward Yeni Cami, also known as the New Mosque. The courtyard is wide, calm and feels like a completely different world compared to the busy waterfront just a few steps away. Before going inside, it is worth taking a moment to look at the details on the exterior arches and the marble work. Inside, the colourful tiles and soft lighting create a peaceful space to unwind. Getting around this area is easy if you use the metro and trams. Public transport here is reliable, fast and much cheaper than taxis. It is the best way to hop between neighbourhoods without getting stuck in traffic. If you're exploring Istanbul in one day, the metro links everything together so you can fit in more sites with less effort. After filling our bellies with corn and roasted chestnuts, we bought our sunset boat tour tickets right at the pier in Eminönü. There are plenty of boats to choose from, so you can just walk up, check the next departure and hop on. We headed straight to the upper deck because this is where you get the clearest views and the best light for filming. As the boat pulled away, the whole waterfront opened up behind us. You could see Yeni Cami glowing in the soft evening light, ferries gliding past each other, and Galata Tower rising above the skyline on the other side of the bridge. It is one of those moments where the city feels like a living postcard. Once the boat reached the open stretch of the Bosphorus, the views really took off. Make sure to look to the European side first because one of the main highlights appears early. That is Dolmabahce Palace, a huge waterfront palace built in the 1800s. It is easy to spot with its endless windows and long white facade right on the water. Seeing it from the boat gives you a sense of how grand it really is. As you pass, you can look straight into the gardens and the massive gates that open onto the water. A little further up you will see Büyük Mescid Mosque. I really hope I got that right. It is often called Ortaköy Mosque. This is one of the most iconic spots along the Bosphorus. The mosque sits right at the edge of the water with a beautiful pink and white exterior. During sunset the light hits perfectly and it looks like it is glowing. This is also the point where the Bosphorus bridge stands high above the boats. The structure is massive when you sail underneath it, and as the sky changes colours the bridge starts to appear, shifting slowly and creating a whole new atmosphere. Once the boat continues past the bridge, the Asian shoreline starts to come into view. The neighbourhoods along this side look different from the European side and bring a quieter, more local feel. Houses are painted in softer colours, the hills are dotted with residential streets, and you will notice old wooden mansions mixed with modern buildings. The greenery is thicker on this side too, which gives the whole shoreline a peaceful look. Throughout the cruise you will also see dozens of smaller mosques with domes and minarets stretching into the skyline. Seagulls follow the boats and dive across the water, and the breeze gets cooler as the sun fades. It all creates this calm, cinematic feeling that is hard to describe until you see it for yourself. As the boat carried us back towards Eminönü, we kept our eyes on the water because dolphins sometimes pop up in this part of the Bosphorus. They move fast, so blink and you miss them, but it is worth watching the waves just in case. With the city lighting up all around us, it felt like the perfect moment to take everything in one last time. The palaces, the mosques, the bridges, the sound of the ferries and the glowing skyline. Istanbul is one of those places where history and daily life mix so naturally that every turn feels like a new story waiting to happen. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed spending the day with us, make sure to like the video, drop a comment and subscribe so you never miss the next adventure. And if you want to see more videos from me, check out these videos right here.